All right, good morning, everybody. Today I'm gonna make another shirt. It's the new look 6871. And I'm going to be making A. Now this has lace, and like I stated before, I'm not a lace person. I'll show you where to place it, but I don't sew it on. And you're gonna need pieces 1 through 5, and then 6 is going to be your elastic guide for your arms. And I'm making a size 12. I'm 5'4", 118 pounds, if that gives you any sizing to be sure you're making the right size. These are a different size shirt than the olden days. I mean, I made a 8 because that's what I thought I was, and it was way too small. So the new sizes are totally different. All right, so I'm gonna cut out my fabric. And this is what I decided on. And I just like the flower, and it'll go great with jeans. And the only reason I make them long is we're in Florida. One, we have the sun, and I have enough sun damage on my arms being 65 and, you know, doing the baby oil thing and all that, you know, to get a really nice tan. So I got to be really careful now. And also, when you go out and you go to a restaurant, they got the air conditioning cranked so high, I get so cold. So that's why I like just making the long sleeves, and then I have the option, you know, of pulling them up. Sometimes I make 3/4 sleeves like this. And, you know, I still can, you know, push them up, and if I get a little cold, you know, I can pull them down. This one was supposed to have elastic in it, but I actually just made a band going across. So, all right, so let's get started. Also on this pattern, be sure when you check your layout. Okay, number 4 is going to be print side down. 10. Okay, number 4 is going to be print side down. So just so you know, and like I said, I'll get going. I'll try to do a better camera view when I'm sewing or, you know, ironing. Sometimes I just forget about the camera and I just start sewing, and then I'm like, oh man, I forgot to switch the camera angle. But I will work on that. So let me get these pieces cut out, and then we'll get started. Okay, so now you're going to gather your front and your back, which I just did. I realized the camera wasn't on. Okay, so I used my gathering foot, and you go from notch to notch and you gather. Now if you don't have a gathering foot, what you can do is either sew 2 or 3 rows and then pull your threads to gather it. Another way, the old-fashioned way, how they used to do it, was they would take some string. This is just butcher twine. And you would lay it down. And then you would, with a big zigzag, you would sew it on, and then cut your string off, and then you could pull it to gather it. So there's 3 ways. If you have the Janome, I'm sure, you know, Singer and the other sewing machine, if you go onto Amazon, I've found a lot of feet or foot for my sewing machine. This one I think was like $8, and it has just saved a lot of time where it will just gather itself. Okay, so let me get back to the other part, and I think we're doing the yoke. So let me get my foot off here, get my other one on, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to take our front yoke piece without the interfacing. And you got a notch here and a notch here. So you can see my notches. And you're going to match them up to your front. So my notch is here, my notch is here. So match those up, and you're going to pin that. Be sure you come down to this edge. And then go to your next side and pin it right at that corner. Match your notch. And now you have to put your gathering in here. I gotta find my little string here so I can gather this a little bit more. This is my middle. So put your middle piece in. So you got a seam or a line here and here. That's your middle. So pin there. And then you're going to start gathering each side. If I can get my right thread here. I gotta find it. Come on. There it is. No, I got both of them. There we go. So gather that up. I don't want to break it. Come on. There we go. Okay, need more gathering. Okay, that should be good, pretty good. And then you're gonna pin it. Okay, let me get my other side going, and then I'll be back. Okay, once you have it all pinned and gathered, and you're satisfied with it, you're gonna sew 5/8. Okay. So just be sure you turn it around And be sure you get these pieces even on the top. Sometimes you have to pin a little bit more than you want, but believe me, it'll save you time from pulling out. All right. So this is what you want. Okay, from your corner all the way around to this corner, you're going to sew 5/8. 5/8 seam. Be sure you go underneath with your hand. Be sure you're not catching anything else. You probably hear my birds out there. Be sure it's nice and flat on that side. Then you're going to go to your iron and you're going to press your seam upwards. Oops, sorry. You're going to iron it upwards. And I do have my safety pin in the front, so I know that this is the front. Okay, so just come to your iron. And press this seam upwards. Okay, now we're going to do the back the exact same way. So, here's your front piece. Okay. All right, let me do the back. It's the exact same way. And I'll be back. Okay, once you have your two pieces all gathered up, right sides together, you're gonna match your notches at your shoulder, and you're gonna sew a 5/8 seam. Get your other shoulder, match your notch, and sew this up. My hands don't seem to want to work too well today, but we'll get through this. Okay, so you're going to sew up these two seams at 5/8. And then you're going to go to the ironing board and you're going to press open these seams. to the sewing machine, or the ironing board, and press these open. Okay, now we're going to do the yoke with the interfacing. So let me get that ready. And we'll be right back. Okay, here's our yokes. I have a pin, safety pin, in my front. And you're gonna sew these up 5/8, match your notches. So get these pinned up, right sides together. Okay. Okay. And sew these up, and I'll be right back. Okay, iron your seams open. Now, if you have a little ruler, I have mine, you're gonna turn over a 1/2 inch on each side, right here. So set your ruler at a 1/2 inch. And go along and press this down at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'll get both sides done, and then I'll be back. Okay, now that you have all that turned under, you're gonna match your shoulder. This is your facing. Place it right sides together. And you're gonna pin along your neckline, all around here. So let me get that done. Okay, now the fun part comes. This shirt is gonna have like a little V. So what you're gonna do is get a marking pin. And take your pattern. And you will see these small dots. And then you see your point. So what I do is I just poke a little hole in the pattern. And then one down at the point. That's my bird. Okay. Come back to your top. Be sure you're on the front. Check for your safety pin. Okay. And you're gonna match this notch and this notch. And you can clip or pin if you want. It's just temporary. It's just to keep your pattern. Okay. Let me get the other side. Get my notch. Get this down good. Okay. So come back. I'm doing a 12. So you're going to mark here and mark there. And then I'm going to mark my point. And then just check to be sure you have everything. Then you can take your pattern off. And take a ruler. Let's see if I got one just handy. And you're going to draw your line so you hit your point and your dot. And your point to your dot. Move that over just a little. There. There we go. And that's just marking it. Then you're going to baste. So get a needle and some thread. Let me see if I can find my needles. There's one. Okay. And it doesn't matter what color thread you use, it's just basting it. So I'll just use this. And you're going to baste your neckline. So it won't move. You're going to have to baste a couple times on this pattern. And you're just using just one strand. You don't have to double it. So starting like at your shoulder, just so everything's even. I think my bird wants lunch. I'll get this part done and then I have to go feed him. Okay, and then up to the other shoulder. Some people skip this part, but I'm telling you, it's really important if you want to have your neckline just right. We all try to find ways to skimp around a pattern to go a little bit faster, but you end up pulling it out and you waste more time. So if you just baste it, get it done with, you're okay. All right, I will be right back. I have to go feed my bird. He's telling me to come on and to hurry up, so that means it's lunchtime for him. So I'll feed him and then I'll come back. Okay, we got the birdie all fed. He's happy for right now. Okay, so what you're gonna do is come around and you're gonna baste this side. So let me get my needle and thread. I'll be right back. Okay, so come back. Be sure your seams are open here and just start basting once again. And then after you get this part done, you're gonna baste your arm or your shoulders down to here. So keep doing this. Okay, and I'll be back. Okay, so just be sure that these are all together the right way, and then just baste it. Be sure that your seam is open. Now I just hit my finger with that needle. Oh, I don't need two pieces in there. Oh well, that's okay. Okay, so do this all the way down to the corner. Sure these are even. And then we're going to do the other side. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, start your other side. Be sure you're matching your notches here. And just baste it. It's kind of a pain, but it really does help. Okay, match your notch. Okay, so that's all done. So the last basting you're going to want to do is where your V is. So be sure this is all even. The bird. And just baste. Okay, now we're going to sew up our neckline. And we're doing this at 5/8. So you're going to start at your seam. And you're going to sew 5/8, pivot, and come down 5/8. Go across just a few stitches and back up 5/8, and then 5/8 all the way around. Okay? And then afterwards, we are going to cut this. Okay? So I'll be right back. And I even saved just a little thread. It's not going to make anything, but it's great for basting. So, you know, you can't waste stuff when you're sewing. It's so expensive. Okay. So like I said, we're going to start at one of our seams, sew around, pivot, come down, a couple stitches across, back up, and 5/8 all the way around. So let me get that done. Okay, we're at the V. So you're gonna do 5/8. And pivot. Be sure everything is flat. Just do a couple stitches. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to cut it. I meant to pivot. Hold on. Okay. Pivot. Be sure this is nice and flat. And come back up. Okay. Pivot again. Be sure you're at your 5/8 mark. Be sure everything's out of your way. And start sewing again. The end. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go back. Oh, that's my safety pin. Okay. Okay, now what you're going to do is go back. I got so much bobbin thread hanging around. Okay. You're going to go back and re-sew this part, your V, which is going to give you more strength. Okay, we got that all done. Just take out your neck bias or your basting. Where's my little knot? Did we get it all off of there? Yep. Okay. Now, we're gonna cut on our line. And then we're gonna make a couple little notches on each side to help it curve. Okay, so we're just gonna cut. And don't get down to your seam, but just, you know, right before it. And then back up and cut our notch and our notch. And that'll help us with turning it. Okay, so let me correct this. We're just gonna cut down the center. Of those 2 stitches. Then this is a corner, so you want to take out a little notch, or if you have pinking shears, you can do the same thing. And this is just going to help it turn. And we'll just see where we are. We might have to go around with our pinking shears, but let's just see where we are. Okay, now that you got that done, just pull out your arm hole. Oh, where's my little basting here. Okay, now you're going to turn this like this. And I can take this pin out because I got the pin in the front, and now I know it's the front with the V. Okay, so you're going to turn this inside. Okay, so it's going to be, oh, okay, Ab, let's get the camera better. Sorry, guys. Okay, so you have it like this. Okay, and you're going to turn it like this and turn your yoke inside. Okay, like this. And then just take a little, like I said, I have my little tool, and not hard because you don't want to go through, but try to point out. You might have to cut. I'm gonna cut. It doesn't say, but I'm gonna cut just a little on my corners inside so I don't have a lot of fabric trying to push through a little. Let's see, right there. Just cut that. Okay, then turn it. Take your little poker and try to get that as square as you can. And then do your other side, which is right here. Okay. And poke it through. Or not through, but poke it. So now, what you're going to do, okay, is you're going to iron your whole seams around. So you're going to have to, like I showed you before, you're going to have to kind of roll it to get your seams even with the other one. Okay, so you want to just keep going around and at your neckline, just keep pressing it so you can get it nice and flat. So just keep going around, okay? And let me get that done, and then we'll see where we are. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, once you're done with that, you're gonna go back, open it up, and just baste your sleeve line here and your shoulder. Okay, so just baste that. Okay, so just this area, and match your notches. So just go back and baste this. I actually have some thread on this needle, so okay, just be sure everything's even. Your notches are together. Oh, that's a way big needle. Hold on a minute. got a different needle. That one was way too big. All right, just baste your armhole, shoulders and armhole again. Be sure your seams are opened. And on the bottom part, be sure that this seam is pushed up. Okay. Go to the next side and do that one, and I'll be back. Okay, now we're gonna pin our yoke, but you want to have your pins on the outside, because once you get this all pinned, you want to go as close as you can along this side. So be sure your notches match. And right along this seam, you're going to line up your yoke. So you can actually feel it, or you can just kind of like flip it over a little and be sure you're right on that seam. And pin it. And we're going to do this all the way around, or both sides. So just kind of like feel where that seam is. Flip this up. And just be sure you're right at that seam. And pin it, okay? And I'll be right back. Okay, when you get one side done, flip it over and just check. Be sure that you're like right at that seam. And I usually just spot press it. See, that came up a little. So we're going to just pull this up a little, get it right there, and I'm going to put another pin on the outside. Okay, and do this with the other side now. Okay, and I'll be back. Okay, once you have this done, spot press it. I came out like a little U instead of a V, but that's all right. And just check and be sure this is where you want it and it's all right. And we're going to go to the sewing machine, and you're going to sew as close to this seam as you can. You want to be able to sure that you're catching your back. So, you know, just a touch over. And then just sew, remove your pin, sew, remove your pin. Do both sides, and I'll be back. Okay, once you have that part done, you're going to sew up your sides. So match your notches, and then we're almost done. We just have the sleeve and the hem. So match up your ends, your notches, pin them, and you're going to do a 5/8 seam allowance on your sides. Match up your notches and your ends, and I'll get these done, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got my sides all stitched up. Now we're going to start on the sleeves. And the same with the back and the front. You're going to gather between your notches. Got a pin in there. There we go. Okay, so between here and here, you're gonna gather. So do both sleeves and I'll be back. Okay, now we're gonna sew our arms. So match your notches. And this is also a 5/8 stitch. Just pin it in place. Okay, we have both sleeves sewn. Okay, so in this pattern, what they want us to do is turn over like 5/8. So I'm going to turn a little over here and then 5/8. Then what they want us to do is stitch here and stitch here, and this will be our casing for our sleeve. So let's get over there. I'm reading this correctly. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna have to get you over on this side. All right, so be sure your seam is opened. They say just to turn over 5/8, but I can't. And then a quarter, so I'm just gonna do it this way. So go around and just make a little turn here. Okay. Then we're gonna turn up 5/8. Okay. And I'm going to just turn it up a 1/2 inch, which is close to the 5/8. And then just measure. and go around here and press. And then I'll be back. Okay, so just clip it when you're going along. I didn't clip it, but I'm gonna now just double check this. So I'm just doing a 1/2 inch. Okay. Then just keep going around and clipping it. And check it, be sure you got 1/2 inch. Okay, let me get this one done and the other one done, and then I'll be back. I have my sleeves pinned. So you're gonna start sewing like a little past your seam. And you're gonna leave this opening. So I put a pin here. And another little pin. So I'm gonna leave this opened. And we're gonna sew along the whole line or the whole sleeve very close to this edge. So let me get these done. Okay, I got that finished. Now get your elastic. And with piece 6, you're gonna cut 2 pieces. I don't know if these are gonna be a little loose on me because I got very small wrists, but I can always take it up. Okay, cut 2 pieces. Okay, and just like last night with the other shirt we did, you're gonna get a safety pin, and you're gonna start running it through wherever you left your little hole. I want to see how this is going to look without sewing down here. So I'm going to try this. Okay, so get that through till you get to the end. And remember, once that's close to your edge, you're going to pin it. And then just keep pushing this through. The little notch there. Okay, once you got that through, I think I'm just gonna tighten this up. I'm gonna take off like maybe an inch and a half off of my elastic, because that's pretty loose on me. So just get your ruler. Pair of scissors. So I'm going to take off an inch and a half, which is right there, and cut it. Because that It's just too loose for me. All right, so last night how we did this, I explained a lot of people sew their elastic this way. We're gonna sew it the long way. Put a pin in there. Okay, and sew down this way first. Okay, so you have it like this. Piece like this. Then open it up. Open your hole up. And you can push that through. Okay. Get in there. All right, now we're just gonna sew up our little hole here. And trim your thread. And then move your elastic around. It's a little better. Still a little loose on me, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna do the next sleeve. So I'll be right back. Remember, if you trimmed your elastic, be sure you trim your next piece so you don't have one loose and one tight. Okay, I got the sleeves done. And I'm not gonna do this extra seam down here because I'm using 1/4 inch and it really doesn't need it. If you're using half, maybe to keep it in, but I'm not gonna do that. So here's one sleeve, and I think these are actually gonna be like 3/4 sleeves. The picture looked like long, but I think they're coming out like 3/4. Okay, so now we're gonna put on our sleeves. So right sides together. This come through there. Okay. Open up your seam and pin your center bottom. Open up that seam. Okay, pin it. Okay, keep pinning around. Match your notches. So here's my notch here and my notch here. So we want to get those matched up. Keep pinning. next side. Match your notch up. Okay. Now where your gathering is, you're going to just start to gather this so it is even with your sleeve. So bring it up and then find your little string and gather. Just keep gathering this. Oh, I don't want to break that little seam or that. There we go. Find my other end. There's my other little end. Okay, and just keep gathering this till you get this even. I just got to gather just a little bit more. Once you have it all pinned, just turn it and kind of inspect it. Kind of be sure that nothing's there. Okay. So you're going to sew a 5/8 seam all the way around, and then come back and you're going to do 3/8 seam, probably about 6 inches. So 5/8 all the way around, and then 3/8, about 6 inches under your armpit. That will give it some more strength. So let me do this and I'll be right back. Okay, once you have that done, you can take out your basting thread. Let's see if I can find my little knot that I had. I think that's it. Yeah, I don't see any more. Okay, and then just kind of put your hand through, and then just check that you didn't catch any of your shirt. My seams are right on. Okay, I'm going to put the other sleeve on, and then all we have left to do is to hem this, and we will be done. So I'll be right back. Okay, we have the sleeves done. Like I said, just to inspect. Get some of this. Okay, that one looks good. That one looks good. Okay, now we just have to hem it. And we're gonna just trim the armholes. So, okay, so come over here with your pinking shears. Put this inside out. Yeah, these are gonna be like a 3/4 inch or 3/4 sleeve. Put your sleeve inside so you don't cut it. Okay. Put this up. Okay. Get your pinking shears. If I can find mine. Okay. And you're gonna go around your armhole. Be sure you don't cut into your armhole. So just take a little, be sure it's flat. Okay, and and start cutting. I've had these pinking shears for 20 years. I broke the top off of them and everything. I still use them. Okay. Keep turning. Keep going around. This is where I began. Okay, and do your next one, and then we'll do the hem. Okay, I'm gonna do about an inch hem. So come back around, measure your inch, and place your clip, and press it. Okay, and let me get this around, and then we're gonna sew it up. Okay, we're gonna sew up this hem. So starting at one of your seams, you're gonna sew as close to here as you can. So let me get that done. Come back to your sewing machine, and you're gonna wanna press your hem down. In your shirt. Let me get that done. Okay, everybody, here's the completed shirt. Okay, so this pattern was 68.72, and I did a size 12. And now, as I showed you before, when you're going to put your patterns away, you can iron them. And this just helps keep them in their envelope better. And then you can just fold them so they'll fit in there and not get all ripped up trying to shove them in there. So just, just fold them up, and then you can place them right back into your envelope. Okay, so tomorrow I'm gonna be sewing, I'm gonna be sewing pajama pants. Okay, and that's gonna be number 68.59. So we can make shorts, you can make, long pajama pants. Some have lace on the bottom, some have buttons or ties, ties on the bottom. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 different styles that we can do. I'm gonna probably make B right here for tomorrow. All right, well, thank you again for watching this video. Again, I'm sorry they're long, but I'm trying to help the beginner and not skip anything for them so they understand how to do everything and not get frustrated with, the pattern, or, get discouraged with sewing, because I love to sew. And it really helps my stress level sometimes to just come in here and sew and just be in my own little world. So that's why they're kind of long. But if I can help anybody with this pattern, please leave a comment. If you do make it, please leave a picture of your project. I love to see people's projects. And, you know, please like, share, subscribe. It's really going to help this channel out if I get a lot of likes and subs. And, you know, we're just going to keep going, see how far this goes. And you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for pajama pants. All right, talk to you later.